Hey up! welcome, one and all to the Good Morning Walk. Normally, I say normally, of course, we are outside. However, outside today is, well, it's pretty damn windy. So yeah, we've been forced indoors today, unfortunately, because it's pretty windy. And people are going to say, oh, well, just put a windsock on your mic. A windsock on my mic would not stop this wind. Trust me, we are, as someone just said, Phil's just said here, gales. Gales, literally. I wouldn't expect to see a pony literally being blown past my window in a few moments. But yeah, it is absolutely windy as anything today. It also looks like it might be starting to rain as well. So unfortunately, we've been forced inside. But my friends, I have a very special treat for you. Almost as if by magic, the Illuminati knew that this was going to happen. This mysterious item was deposited through the mailbox just last night. And quite frankly, my friends, we have seen the light upon this channel. But more on that later. Oh, I'm just looking what I've got set up now. It's going to be fun. It is going to be very, very fun when we get into that. But as always, before we start, let's welcome all the people who are joining us so far this morning. So we've got Ben Ridings. Good morning to you, Ben. PE, good morning to you. Catholic, good morning to you. No walkies today, unfortunately. It's very windy out there. Crowban, afternoon to you. 27 Bike Brothers, good morning from Lubin, inside. Yes, unfortunately, we are inside today. Phil Watson, good morning to you. FSM the Dog. Tathel OG, good morning to you. Alexander, good morning to you. Good morning, one and all. No, I'm not talking about the Sue Gray report. Because no one's got it. No one has it as of yet. And at the time of doing this, at the moment, no one's had it yet. No one's even seen it yet. I've even got some coffee this morning. So, cheers. So, this is it. This is, so far, the Sue Gray report. Probably, and I say probably, it will come out next week at some point. For the time being, I am reminding people what I've said this week so far. We haven't seen what's in the report yet, so don't worry about it. Those people worrying about, oh, the police are going to water it down. My friends, that's what a police investigation is meant to do. They want to keep any evidence currently out of the public eye so that it does not interfere with the police investigation. That is what normally happens. Like people just suddenly forget, just because it's the Sue Gray report. Oh, it's same thing still applies. If it becomes a police investigation, of course, the police are going to want to minimize any sort of public information getting out too much because they've got to investigate. And they do not want to bias any potential investigation, any potential juries, or anything like that this may potentially lead to. This is what normally happens. And I do agree with a lot of people, as some people are saying, why have the police decided to get involved now? They could have got involved a long time ago. And trust me, these are questions that the Met Police Commissioner must answer and must be held accountable for. She must be forced to answer why it has taken so long for her to get involved. I agree with the people who were saying that. And, you know, why hasn't she stepped in to do her job a lot longer before this? So I agree. I agree what has taken so long for police to get involved. They should have been involved, quite frankly, as we were seeing, a lot more sooner than they obviously evidently have at the moment. But we've got to wait and see what the Sue Gray report says. I do not want to comment or say anything or speculate about anything because we haven't even read it. There are people out there saying, oh, it's always going to be a whitewash, even before the police said, you know, we'd like to hold some of the stuff back to be released to the public. People were already teeing it up as if it was going to be a complete whitewash. You haven't even read the report yet. You don't even know what's in it. At least read it before you decide that it's a complete whitewash. So just wait, hold fire, wait for the report to come out, see what it says, then trust me, when it comes out, we will get into it. But until it really comes out, what's the point of really talking about it? And you are right. The fact that the police are involved, FSM, is that the police she might have found some evidence that does lead to, these people obviously being, caught for criminal investigation, things like that. So we do have to, again, wait and see what happens. But people are flipping out over this. But as I've been saying to everyone, I've got a lawyer friend. Well, she's not. Well, she has done law, but she's a solicitor, so she has, studied law. Even she said, it's going to be, brought back in because they do not want to bias any potential investigations or maybe any potential juries, depending, of course, on these allegations. Now, at the end of the day, I do not think it is going to go to a jury. But if Downing Street or anyone else decides, I want to defend myself against these investigations, then that's when it might go to a jury. But at the moment, I very much doubt it. Like I say, at the moment, all these people, even the Prime Minister, there's been a lot of people fantasizing about the Prime Minister ending up in court and things like that this week. That's not going to happen either. It's just a fine he's going to receive. That's the worst that's going to happen. A lot of people are like teeing up, oh my God, Johnson's going to go to prison. Johnson's going to go to prison when the Sue Gray report gets released. He's going to be escorted out of Downing Street in handcuffs. No, that's not going to happen. It's a fine. Again, I've got to bring everyone down just a couple of notches, bring them back to reality of what is generally the serious procedure here. He's going to receive probably a fine. He's probably going to end up paying it. And of course, as I've said before, there are going to be consequences of this. There might be enough letters going into the 1922 committee. And again, I'd like to remind people, a lot of the rebel MPs who have been talking about this, about sending letters, have all said that once this comes out, they've probably got 24 hours to be able to get enough letters to the 1922 committee to trigger this vote of no confidence. And I've said before, there's two potential scenarios here. Either A, they don't get enough letters within the specified time period and a vote of no confidence happens. Boris somehow survives. They get the letters, the no confidence vote happens, and I've said before, this is a secretive ballot, so no one knows who's going to have voted which way. And Boris, again, somehow maybe survives that. Of course, there's obviously the other direction that the report comes out and Boris just goes, right, I'm going to resign. Now, again, Boris does show no sign, of course, of doing that, of resigning and, taking dare I say it, responsibility for his actions. That will be indeed be a shocking turn of events in itself. But again, we'll have to see what happens. Like I say, just wait for the report and we'll take it from there. Like I say, people need to take it down a notch. The Sue Gray report were already people saying, this is going to be a whitewash even before Sue Gray had probably even started writing a report. So, wait for the report before you decide to jump too quick to a verdict, because who knows? Maybe this does take down Johnson. What then? What are the people going to start saying? Who are you just suddenly going to turn around and just say, "Oh wow, it took down Johnson"? That you've been saying it's going to be a complete whitewash for the past couple of weeks. Just chill. Can we just chill and we'll see what happens? You want to lose the music? I'm just trying out. I'm just trying out some background music. That's all. Because it's a new feature of my of StreamYard. So I thought I'd just try it out. So just see what you guys thought. But if you're not like that, I can put some lo-fi on. Yeah, it's just so there's no dead air. That's what we call. That's what it's called in the radio terms, dead air. Just so there's something a little bit, playing over the thing. Like I say, I've turned it down a bit more now, so you might be able to just hear it. But at least it's it's just there in the background, just to be a nice little it's a nice little mood setter. But like I say, it's turned down quite a lot. It's on 9. The volume is on 9. So, like I say, looks like an angry owl is trying to escape my chest. So it's my Joker t-shirt. So you've got a pony-shaped hole. That's very true, Mitch. It's very true. It's very true. But like I say, last night I had a delivery. So that's how we'll put it. And needless to say, this delivery, oh my word, my friends, I hope you're prepared for this, because we have got the light going on in this. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to put on your tinfoil hat. Put on your tinfoil hats, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time. It is time to dive into this. Yes. It turned out this is my secret identity, as Mitch has pointed out. My secret identity is tinfoil hat man. Because, ladies and gentlemen, some of you may or may not be familiar with this publication. This, ladies and gentlemen, is The Light. Yes, the uncensored truth. Dare we say that we are going today receive and broadcast the uncensored truth? So beware, friends, for you will be receiving the uncensored truth with the head title of Following the Science. So, my words, ladies and gentlemen. My word. This is This is absolutely insane. This is a conspiracy theory newspaper that has essentially a distribution method of, we are going to print it, we are going to send it out to our subscribers, and it is up to them to then handle the distribution of this. So I did not order this. You just get it. Like I say, the price is free. But needs to say, quite frankly, even free, this really isn't worth the paper that it is printed on. Is the anti-vax Joe Rogan in there? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Hang on. Like I say, my tinfoil hat's starting to... You can already tell I'm starting to be bombarded. My tinfoil hat's starting to come to pieces. I'm just having to take more precautions. Yes, you are right. Imagine if David Icke wrote a tabloid. So, should we go for this? So I want to point out that this is, again, complete conspiracy nonsense and complete and utter like dribble and nonsense. But unfortunately, there are a small section of society that generally do believe this nonsense, unfortunately. And as I've always said, sometimes it's worth tackling this stuff. And this, again, bizarrely takes me back to my roots. I used to originally go very much after on this channel alternative health and conspiracy theory stuff. So we're back to this. So let's dive into this, shall we? The light, the uncensored truth. This article was written by one Darren Smith for said light. Oh, and of course, it wouldn't be natural that we are sponsored today by Knight's Bullion. Because buying gold, my friends, is the only sensible economic option. Buy gold, buy it, buy now. The Illuminati's after you. Buy gold, buy it now. Yeah. So yeah, you're in for a sensible newspaper when it's sponsored by a company that is buying gold. And trust me, there's a couple of YouTube videos about that go into the absolute myth of buying and selling gold. So anyway, let's get into this. I'm being distracted because there's so much fun stuff in here that's just made me laugh and cackle. But anyway, following the science, the headline title. So we are reportedly told that the government are following the science, and indeed they are following the science, which is what you should do when it comes to the draconian and discriminatory policies now in effect across the United Kingdom. However, it seems that only some of the science is being followed. Yeah, I've got a hole in my chest. This is the Illuminati's doing. That only some of the science is being followed, or that some of the scientists are only being listened to. Anyone who suggests anything other than the mass vaccination program. What's your suggestion? It makes me kind of wonder, like, just generally for a second, like, what would have happened in like America and the UK? What would have these people been putting in the newspaper today if, for example, like the free market fundamentalists and the libertarians had won the argument over like lockdown and vaccines? Because I'll tell you now, we'd be in a far, far worse state than we are now. You know. Yeah, careful, the BBC will invite me on to question time. That will be fun. If I suddenly got an invitation from the BBC. Oh. But yeah, what makes me wonder, honestly, what they would be doing here. Like, what would be in this newspaper? Like, we'd be in a far worse state, and yet that's where we are today. You know, don't get me wrong. Our government has performed really poorly during this pandemic, but according to like these wacko conspiracy theorists, you know, everything would have been all right. Makes me wonder what would have happened if what they'd be saying in this paper, if like I say, the libertarians had got their way. Do you think they'd be talking about all these extra deaths, talking about how it's a depopulation mechanic or something? Again, these people are absolutely crackers. Son of Viking, who shot me through the chest? Well, again, this is why I've got my tinfoil hat on today. This is why I've got the tinfoil hat on today, because we got this through the front paper, front letterbox last night, just in time for, because obviously, like I say, Storm Michaels forced us inside today for the Good Morning Walk, for those of you joining us. So we are going through the lights, the uncensored truth. So anyway, back to it. So anyone suggesting anything other than the vast mass vaccination program is ignored, silenced, lambasted, and labeled as anti-vax. God, you know what I'm missing? You know how I've got the background music now? I wish I had the X-Files. Oh, well, I'd get copyright claimed for it. But God, I wish I had the X-Files music playing. So just imagine that as I'm reading. So, a description that could not have been more poorly chosen, where it comes to, quote, the three scientists pictured here, all repeatedly outspoken against the vaccines. Again, what's your alternative to this? We know, and we've talked about this time and time again, vaccines work. You have to show evidence that vaccines work. And bear in mind, we've just had probably the most successful vaccination program in probably the history of the world, probably next to polio. Yeah, true. I need to change my background to like something, the Illuminati is the background. True. I hadn't thought of that. If only I had known, I would have done that ahead of time. But oh well. If this ever comes through again, maybe we'll do it next time. Who knows? Maybe we'll do this as a regular thing. Like, we'll dive into conspiracy theories. I'd say we'd call it Tinfoil Tuesday, but someone else always does that. Where were we? Yes, the three scientists pictured have all here repeatedly spoken out against these COVID vaccines. So who are these three scientists who are pictured? So we've got currently a Nobel Prize winner, one Dr. Luke Mornington. No idea, never heard of him. A retired chief scientist, Dr. Michael Yeldon. And of course, the quote, father of mNRA tech, Dr. Robert Malone. Now, if you knew these people, I guarantee you, we could look all these three up and we could just see that these three are wrong in what they're doing. Because, first of all, what's he won? He's won a Nobel Prize for medicine, a doctorate in medicine, but what in? Is he a virologist? So I don't really see what he is. So I'm not seeing the connection here. You've got an allergic and respiratory therapeutic expert. There's the next guy. Yeah, dudes just brought it up. Do you remember the Great Barrington Declaration? That was what was that? Was that like 2020? Almost practically at the start. And the Great Barrington Declaration was probably heralded by people like these as some sort of magic, magic cure-all. And you are right, Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore's an absolute lunatic when it comes to this and citing off this stuff. Again, if you ever followed the Majority Report, and a guy called Sean, who's shown that Jimmy Dore didn't even read the articles he was citing. In fact, didn't he get caught out? In fact, yeah, he got caught out altering an article to make it fit his narrative. And yet that guy has millions of subs and people believe him. And it's just like, come on, guys. What's going on there? But oh well, there you go. And Joe Rogan too. Joe Rogan again, but this, and people are somehow shocked with what's been going on with Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan's been like that for years. You could sit a guy who's like, I don't know, a crypto archaeologist who talks about, ancient aliens, and Joe Rogan will be sitting there with his cigar going, yeah. Oh my God, this theory is so correct. That's literally what the state Joe Rogan is in. He just, whoever's put in front of him, he just follows what they say and just agrees with them and has very, very little pushback. In fact, the only times he's ever pushed back was he embarrassed a guy called Dave Rubin about the US Post Office. He pushed back him on that. And there was a guy he had where the conversation was talking about weed. I can't remember who the guy was, talking about like marijuana. And Joe Rogan's very, very like pro legalization. And he was like, no, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong, X, Y, and Z. He pushes back against so many of his like wacky and crazy people so few times. It's unbelievable, but that's where he gets. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, Jimmy Dore isn't. But that's so bizarre thing. Like Jimmy Dore at one time was like, he was part of like the Young Turks and doing all this, stuff. Like what happened to him? But again, Dave Rubin was the same. He used to be on the left, and then he left the left. So yeah, you are right. Some of these people have just, I think they're just grifters. Some of those people. Jimmy Dore, absolutely a grifter. But Kelly Anderson, you cancelled your Spotify premium over Joe Rogan. Good for you. Good for you. Like I say, hopefully Spotify does take notice. I wish they did. I really, really wish they did take notice of this, because I think there's been a musician has come out and said that he's wants his music pulled from, Spotify as well over this. So, but yeah, anyway, let's continue with this. Just I just glanced down and immediately my eyes were drawn to the Great Barrington Declaration. Oh, let's continue with this, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to get more spicy. So, apparently these description of these scientists could not be more poorly chosen when it comes to the three scientists pictured all here and repeatedly outspoken against COVID vaccines. So far, every time they've printed the word vaccines, it's been in quotes, which tells you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about these people. Everything you need to know. They represent just a, quote, tiny fraction of scientists, researchers, clinicians, doctors, nurses, and, quote, other well-credentialed professionals. See, in quotes, see Great Barrington Declaration. Right? Why on earth? Why on earth would you quote the Great Barrington Declaration? As Dude's just said in the chat, you can literally look at the Great Barrington Declaration and just discredit it. In fact, it's even more hilarious because the Great Barrington Declaration was, again, something put together by big party corporate lobbyists and corporations who didn't want essentially America to put in lockdown procedures because it would hurt their income. Bear in mind, these people are normally types of conspiracy theorists called people like me and you, sheeple, and that they're able to see through propaganda far more than us, and that they pride themselves in such things. And yet here they are falling for the Great Barrington Declaration. Oh. So anyway, we'll see what they say. We'll continue with this nonsense that are continually and effectively cancelled by the corporate machine, which controls both the pharmaceutical industry and the corporate media. Again, because the corporate media and big pharmaceuticals are all run by one mysterious, shadowy cabal, including big tech platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The latter took down Joe Rogan's interview with acclaimed cardiac surgeon Dr. Peter McClellan back in December, calling it medical misinformation, because it was. Spotify did the right thing there by pulling Joe Rogan. They did the right thing. If someone is putting out misinformation, I fully believe, especially medical misinformation, because I've been on this train for years. Some of my earliest videos on this channel were going after like the alt medical community that exists still on YouTube, that tell people to use things like black salve, which is basically an active corrosive. And you can, I wouldn't tell you, put it this way, you can Google black salve injuries, but I would beware you not to, because there are some pretty gruesome photos. Like I say, so beware if you decide to Google that. Like I say, probably some of you have just had your breakfast, so beware when you Google that. Some people have lost their nose. Some people have lost their nose using this, using black salve. And you have to really, really question if that is the case, that some people have lost that. And not only that, they've had like massive scars and chunks of the skin lost, because, like I say, it's a corrosive that is just put on the face and just literally just corrodes their skin, because it's used as a cancer treatment. That's what it's sold as. The Gerson therapy, something I went after for years, still around on YouTube and Facebook. It's a therapy, again, a purported used as a again, a cure for cancer. But what do? Basically, you shove coffee enemas, yes, coffee enemas, 6 times a day, and then you eat nothing but like watered down soup, and that somehow cures cancer, as well as a myriad of other ailments. And one thing, one of the people I covered years ago, a woman called Jessica Fusey, or just for Faluzzi. She got cancer and then decided that she wanted to go the alternative route, because she didn't want to go, because essentially they told her, because of the type of cancer that she had, that they'd have to amputate her arm. That's how serious her cancer was. So she went down the alternative route. And while I agree, again, having to amputate your arm is, again, a pretty radical treatment to try and treat this cancer. You might lose your arm, but at the end of the day, you'd still be alive. Yes, of course, your quality of life might change because of that. But hey, if you asked me, and someone came to me and said, unfortunately, you have this type of cancer, we'd have to amputate your arm, but at least you would live, I'd take the amputation. Yeah, it'd be pretty radical, and I agree. Unfortunately, she fell for the nonsense of, again, one of these wacko doctors, and she went to Mexico because, again, bizarrely, it's one of the bizarre things that most of these, again, clinics, again, I say clinics in air quotes, have in common. They're all bizarrely in Mexico and not in America. You'd think if they were prescribing a proper medical treatment, they'd be able to do it in America, but of course they can't, because, again, they get sued and they get arrested, etc., etc. So they have to go to Mexico or places like Hungary, where the laws are far more relaxed and they can get away with it. So the guy that they went to, and again, there are videos of taken by her boyfriend where she is completely out of it, and she's suffering from, she ended up suffering from morphine withdrawal and morphine addiction, because the doctor, again, treating her cancer, basically pumped her full of morphine. And you can see in the videos, her pupils are huge, dilated. She's hallucinating things. She's talking random nonsense. She was high on morphine. And unfortunately, she died. And then the doctor had the nerve to go after her family and say, oh, by the way, you still owe money for her medical treatments, even though she died and you claimed that these treatments would cure her. He had the nerve to go after her family. And I think they sent like a bill to them of like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I generally don't know what happened, whether they paid it or not. But like I say, I sort of lost track of the story after that. I could never find any follow-up of what happened after that. And unfortunately, that's the tragic consequence. That's what happens to these people that fall for these alternative medical treatments, and yet people like this newspaper are what saying we should turn to. That's the type of people we should turn to. So, by the way, welcome to anyone who's joining us. Alexis, yes, tinfoil hat. I like I say, unfortunately, we are indoors today because of Storm Michael. But this came through, like I say, the door last night, almost as if by providence. The Light, which is probably a conspiracy newspaper publication. So I thought, you know, if we're going full conspiracy theories today, then we might as well don our tinfoil hats and assume my secret identity of tinfoil hat man. But yeah, that's the old medical community here, and they're absolutely insane. So I completely agree that YouTube, Facebook need to go after these alt medical people who are not only spreading false medical misinformation, but promoting alternative medicine that doesn't even work. And yet, as Keely Anderson just put again, yeah, the famous quote, you know what they call alternative medicine that's being proven to work? Medicine. And I think that was yeah. So Bakura, yeah. So the Light's distribution method is you phone up and you say, I want to be a distributor. They then send you thousands of copies to then put through people's doors, because like I say, the price, as you can see here, is free. So that's why it ended up through my door. Basically, someone decided to go deposit it through my door, and just through providence, it decided to end up here today. Tim Minchin, thank you for that quote. Yes, Tim Minchin, the famous quote on that. So yeah, let's get back to this. So again, they're quoting 3 scientists, but again, if you go through there's a reason why these people aren't treated as being like serious academic and taking serious academic credentials to these people, because they're wrong in some way, shape, or form. And like I say, this guy, that was it, Robert Malone, treated as like the father. He's going around and saying he is fully responsible for like the mNRA technology. He's saying that he's the one who created it. Again, he wasn't the solely one who created it. There was a number of scientists that were involved in the creation of these mNRA vaccines and the technology to create said vaccines. So, yeah, obviously where they took down Joe Rogan's interview, calling it medical misinformation. Good, I support that type of thing. Anyway, they continue. Ask yourself why you never see debates between pro and anti-mass vaccination doctors. Is the science really settled? Further ask yourself why they need, quote, sports stars and celebrities to push the program, to consider other possibilities. And of course, at the bottom, they have links to 2, should we say, known conspiracy websites pushing this nonsense. Here's the thing. First things first, these anti-pro and vax science debates, that is settled. It is a settled debate. It is completely a settled debate. Mass vaccination programs work. Vaccinations work. End of story. We know they work. We've had decades of data to support that they work, and yet oh, Joe, welcome. Well, like I say, this is a. You can tell from my. You might not be able to see me, Joe. I'm wearing my tinfoil hat, so don't let the Illuminati know that we're covering this. And yes, sort of, I can get it right. This is what I was going to say. As if science is solved by debate. Science is not solved by debate. It's solved by you put out papers and then it is peer reviewed by other scientists. They do your tests and they see what they get, see if they can replicate your experiment, see what results they get, etc., etc. Science is done on test, review, test, review, test, and review. Science is never, ever standing still. This is one of the things conspiracy theorists always can't seem to understand. They can't seem to get or understand that science was like this maybe like a couple of years ago, and then because of new technologies, new advancements in science, and again in science technologies, or new theories come in, you know, this is what happens. This is how science evolves. They keep on looking at things, retesting constantly. You didn't think this is what we listened to while detailing your Gundam? Oh, Bakura. Oh, Bakura. This is my this is Char's Zaku 2 from Gundam Origins. I know this is a bit of a derail, but I love Gundam. I absolutely love Gundam. This is my only Gunpla model that I have, because I absolutely love the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and I love Mobile Suit Gundam Origins, which is where this is from. Again, just a slight detail, because to be honest, sometimes talking about these conspiracy theories, you just need a break. Anyway, back to my regular schedule programming. But yeah, something there that probably me and only Bakura probably get. Oh, anyway, right. So that's it. That's your front page headline. Let's see what's in here. So anyway, oh, this might be good. This is where you get like the letter from the editor on said edition. So, on the editorial policy of the light, those who think in terms of left and right miss the whole charade of two-party politics and the setup of the great public divide over a very narrow Overton window. Bear in mind, this is a UK publication. We do not have a two-party system, even though it might seem that we do have a two-party system here in the UK. We really don't. We've got a third party. They're called the Liberal Democrats. And you always have the option and choice to obviously vote for them. Now, obviously our system does very much prohibit new parties, so it's quite hard for them doing this. Thank you very much. Goddamn nerds and your toy robots. Let me get back to 3D printing war dollies. Thank you very much for your support there, Keely. Yeah, this is truly crazy when they say stuff like this. But yeah, missing the point of our whole political system. Makes me wonder if these people are pro PR. That will be quite interesting to ever see if these people are genuinely like pro PR. Oh, and by the way, if any of the people from the light end up watching this and decide that they want to come on and debate me on any crazy conspiracy theory they want, I've had an open door policy for years for anyone who wants to debate me on crazy medical alt facts. So my door is always open to you. I look forward to hearing from you. Although bear in mind the fact that door has been open since 2012. I'm not expecting a knock at the door anytime soon. So, the bankers. Ooh, the bankers own all the major parties. Oh my word. I think we might be getting into some serious Jewish conspiracy theories here. Ooh, gotta be careful about that, my friends. The bankers own all major parties, all public discourse, and all mass messaging and education. So the bankers own all major parties, the public discourse, mass messaging, and education. How on earth do the bankers own education? What? Right. Again, questions that never get really answered. Anything that goes against the mainstream corporate narrative when hundreds of billions of dollars are at stake is labeled a conspiracy theory in order to shut down debate and curiosity from those who may feel something isn't quite right with the story that they are being told. In a blatant bit of Orwellian thought control by language manipulation, all conspiracy theories are now further labeled automatically far-right conspiracy theories or right-wing extremists, terms repeatedly used in corporate media as pejoratives for those who question the morals and direction of the military, technological, pharmaceutical, government. What a mouthful. Bear in mind, this is all one word. I can't believe it. So, if you question the direction of the military, technological, pharmaceutical, governmental complex. But wait, I thought the bankers owned everything. So how is it a military, technological, pharmaceutical, governmental complex? This is why conspiracy theories make no sense, because they tie themselves in such knots that if they believe one theory, then everything else has to be true as well. And again, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. The reason why you're being labeled far-right extremists is because of all the anti-vax stuff, the far right has gotten into bed with you. And you have welcomed them with open arms. And they are courting you, trying to get them, essentially win them over to your side. They want more recruits. They know that if they get you on this, then they might be able to convince you over to voting for them in all other kinds of crazy far right wing stuff. That's what's been happening. You only have to look at the rallies that have happened here in the UK, and you've had like Nazi imagery happen, like Nazi flags being waved, nationalist flags being waved at these rallies. Are you not concerned by the fact that that might be the case, guys? Again, conspiracy theorists. Go figure. Where were we? Yes, the military, technological, pharmaceutical, governmental complex. Again, I thought it was all owned by the bankers. Which makes perfect sense when you realize that the same group of people own all the media too. Who are these people who own the media? I think we all know where this might be heading, unfortunately. and they worry why they're called far right. Of course, they're going to denigrate those who oppose them, cover by the veneer of respectability, because the message is coming from the captured establishment institutions, which the public has been taught to entrust from a very young age. By the way, the person who is the editor of this, Darren Smith, Darren, my friend. If anyone wants to tweet this out to the lights social media, Darren, my friend, if you want to come on my platform and discuss some of your conspiracy theories, by all means, come on board. I look forward to you coming on. For those of you who may not know, a couple of years ago, there was a conspiracy radio, actual radio broadcast studio called what they called Critical Mass Radio, and one of the guys made a video about a protest they went to over cloud seeding, which was a rather hilarious conspiracy theory. Basically, apparently, jets, while they're flying over you, are dumping all kinds of secret chemtrails, as it's called, the chemtrail conspiracy theory, that causes weather effects, all kinds of crazy nonsense. And I pointed this out. And of course, he got a bit annoyed. He made a bit of a response to me about this. So yeah, so Darren, if you want to come on and defend your publication, doors open, my friends. Doors open. Like I say, I've had a couple of chats with crazy conspiracy theorists in the past, and they've been hilarious, to say the least. So, where were we? Yes, so we're taught to entrust these apparent institutions from a very young age. Even this explanation will be seen as right-wing by those who have been blinded and repeated manipulation by their projections of the world. Someone rejects the telescreen's news broadcast, all puzzlingly, in the exact agreement on every channel. The corporate press in agreement, except for the odd piece in 1,000. They free themselves from the conscious propaganda knowingly inflicted upon them. And they can rebuild their worldview in a way from the ground up, using only evidence and reason, determined by what they think and how they would want to be in a world. Does that really sound like something to be afraid of, to vilify? The light paper exists to provide the opposition. The only message the public are hearing over and over again from every orifice from the corporate machine is those with genuine critical thinking skills, is the existence of thousands that continue to help get it out every month. If we were to be so, quote, hateful and erroneous, or to simply, that would not happen. And no, it's just people fall for your ludicrous nonsense. Like I say, all conspiracy theories are genuinely nonsense. Yeah, you are right, Bakura. Why do conspiracy theories always sound so angry? That's true. They always do. It's because, as far as they're concerned, the truth is on their side, and they just get so annoyed that people can't see the truth, and they're the only ones that can. Like I say, I've had what, 2 conversations with 2 conspiracy theories over the past couple of years. And every time I've had these conversations with them, I always tried to keep like really calm and collected, and just questioning them on what they were talking about, and what they were thinking, why they think this. Doesn't something else contradict them? Why don't they believe this evidence that contradicts their point when there's evidence to back up all this stuff? And they get very, very angry and defensive very, very quickly. very, very quickly. But yeah, anyway, here we go. Back to this. If we're so objectionable, why do, quote, so many well-credentialed scientists, doctors, and journalists want to write for us? I'd question the credentials of these scientists, doctors, and journalists. Definitely question their credentials on this. And so want to write for us. Our numbers have grown so rapidly with no benefactors or major donors. People pay to get hundreds of thousands of copies to distribute. Yeah, again, this is their distribution methods. So the person who put this through my door, probably paid to have X amount delivered to them so that they could then deliver this for free. What an absolute racket. What an absolute racket. Here, I want you to pay to deliver my copy of this free newspaper for free. Will you distribute it for me? What an absolute racket. What a pyramid scheme. Well, it's not even a pyramid. What is it, a pyramid scheme at that point? I don't even know. Hang on. Yeah, getting a bit crinkled. There we go. Why would they do that? It's high time those who react at the very idea that a newspaper that dares to question a giant global corporate narrative take a serious look at themselves and ask whether they are in fact becoming the very things that they daydream about that they are opposing. Opposing the fascist authoritarians that want to quell any opinion that their own that is prescribed by the corporation. Again, what cooperation are you talking about? The bankers, the quote, where are they now? The military, technological, pharmaceutical, governmental complex. Are you talking about that? They can ban books, censor people with the wrong opinions, segregate those who won't comply. It's plain as day. But self-deceit, too many, keeps the charade going. All it needs is a change of heart, a sunrise of honesty, and a desire to live in the absolute truth instead of a world of lies. The thing is, conspiracy theorists live in a world of lies. They've tied themselves so much in these lies that if you present to them like truths about this, like, you know, you Occam's razor this, you know, the simple explanation is very often the reason for this. They don't believe it. They would far believe in wacko, insane conspiracy theories that the bankers somehow control everything, while it's the military, pharmaceutical, governmental, technological, governmental complex that controls it all. There you go. It's said in the world of truth, most are too far psychologically cowardly. Of course. What if mummy government really doesn't have their best interests at heart? One must ask when people, quote, stopped relying on themselves so much, or did they ever really want to be in charge of their own lives and make their own decisions? That, ladies and gentlemen, was the letter from the editor. That's the people who we're dealing with. So let's go through the show and go through this. What's this? Time to blow the whistle on sudden sporting deaths. We need to know why so many get to the heart of why so many super fit athletes are collapsing. Again, probably blaming that on vaccines. Not going to do that, because quite frankly, we've already done that. Doctor wins massive victory for free speech. Somehow I doubt that. What's this? NHS whistleblower Dr. Sam White. That might be worth big. Oh, this might be good to follow. This might be good to follow. The good ship NHS faces being sunk without a trace. This is something. This is more my wheelhouse. So, where are we? On the 9th of this is about the NHS thing. So on the 9th of November last year, England's Secretary of State for Health and Social Care announced that all Care Quality Commission regulated staff will have to be fully vaccinated by the 1st of April this year. So again, asking NHS staff to get vaccinated. I don't think that's a large ask at all. I do not think that is a large ask at all, to be honest. I think that NHS staff are already vaccinated against a number of diseases about this. Please, what's this? Please read about Frankism. What on earth is Frankism? Or the Frankists? I have no idea. I'll look into it another time. So, I fully agree. NHS staff should be vaccinated. There already are. The NHS already do have lots of mandated vaccines that they have to take before they even start working at the NHS. I think they're like, I know for a fact they've got to have like Hep A, B, and C at least as like a mandatory vaccines. And I'm pretty sure they have to have a number of other like mandatory vaccines. So I do not have a problem with NHS staff having to have mandatory vaccines, because how would you feel if, let's say, a relative of yours went to hospital and then caught, I don't know, COVID from an NHS staff member who was unvaccinated? Because that's what we're talking about. That is the situation that we are talking about here. You know, vaccinations work, and we need good vaccination programs, or else we have problems like MMR vaccines, for example. Take that, mumps, measles, and rubella. Because of the MMR scare caused by Mr. Wakefield, because he's not a doctor, let's remind people of that, not a doctor, Andrew Wakefield, disbarred by the British General Medical Council for his, quite frankly, shameful actions that he took in trying to essentially profit from discrediting the MMR jab. Again, go look that up. There was some very fantastic piece of journalism done by what's his name now? I can't remember his name now, but he did some excellent journalism. Is it Walker? I can't remember his name now, but yeah, go look into it. By the way, Wakefield threatened to sue him. He said, "Okay, come sue me." Wakefield never followed through on his threat to sue him. Who was surprised? Who are we surprised about that? So here's the thing. So you should be, they should be vaccinated. I have no problem about this. They should be vaccinated. It stops them getting sick. Because let's face it, if you get the COVID vaccine, yes, you can still get COVID, just as you can with any number of potential, vaccines that you get vaccinated against. You still have the possibility of getting that particular virus. But your body will have a better chance of fighting off against that particular virus, because your body now has the antibodies it needs to fight off against this. We've probably, this goes all the way back to germ theory. And bear in mind, in the alt medical, even conspiracy minded ideas of the people, of these people, people like Louis Pasteur should be discredited because apparently he was part of the big pharma conspiracy theory. Again, germ theory is the basis for all modern medicine. Any medicine that we take today, all based on germ theory. That's the very basis and the bedrock. If you get rid of that, or say that it isn't, what do you base all our medical current technology and advancements on? Germ theory has been proven time and time again to be correct. You know, and just look what happened at MMR. We got flare-ups of mumps, measles, and rubella. Things that we hadn't had flare-ups for in years, because people had gotten scared by Wakefield, the charlatan that he was, for promoting this and scaring people from this. So, yeah, the NHS, and this is what this is about. By the way, I can already tell what this is about with the whole thing. Yeah, you should get vaccinated. You should get vaccinated. I don't care. If you don't get vaccinated, well, you lose your job. You work in the NHS. You already have mandatory vaccines for so many other things. This is just an extra thing that you're being vaccinated against. I do not see the big deal. You work in the NHS. You work in healthcare. You already have taken mandatory vaccines to work there in the first place. Wakefield, you mean Fakefield? True. I'm going to have to start calling him that. Fakefield. That's very true. You know, I don't see the point, guys. Just get vaccinated or lose your job. I have no sympathy. I have absolutely no sympathy for any NHS staff members not taking the jab. I have absolutely no sympathy. If you lose your job because you don't get vaccinated, tough. I don't care. Tough. You work in the NHS, as I've already stated. They already have mandatory vaccines for so many other things. What's the big deal about this? So, anyway, yeah, just get vaccinated. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll go to the story now. I've already covered it. I've covered my thoughts. No need to debate on that. Never has no been so positive or powerful. First they came for Australia. First they came for Australia. Oh, Paul, that's the caring left right there. My friend, Paul, your relative goes to hospital for maybe a surgery. Maybe they have something else. Who knows? But they have to go to hospital, not COVID related. And one of these unvaccinated NHS COVID people that you are bizarrely supporting gives your relative COVID, and they die from complications. That's the scenario you are setting up, Paul. You are pro people dying because of these unvaccinated NHS workers passing on COVID. That's the scenario you are championing there, Paul. Are you seriously telling me that is what you are championing? I very much doubt it. I think you're trolling, so be honest there with you, Paul. Be honest. Anyway, first they came for Australia. This will be good. Does evil happen through people turning out and focusing on their trivial lives instead? This will be fun. So, how did people allow that to happen? I used to ask myself, without gazing out the window, paying half attention in my history school lessons at school, my beloved grandmother's Jewishness getting the better of me. Okay. That's a bizarre way to phrase that, but okay. The question that would plague me, whether I traveling through Southwest Asia just a decade later, visiting the notorious S21 jail site near Phantom Pen, I don't know what that is, would leave my 24-year-old self feeling rather sucker punched once again. Asking how did this horrific atrocity happen at the hands of the Khmer Rogue come to be? Perhaps in both cases, it began with someone akin asking to 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Oh my God. They're going to be... So this is probably comparing the COVID regulations to concentration camps. Oh my word. Okay, I can see where this is going now. Preceded by 4 solid years of, quote, get Brexit done and make America great again. Maybe it began, maybe these people are anti-Brexit. That would be fun to read. A conspiracy theorist view of being anti-Brexit. That would be fun to read. Maybe it began with a mantra similar to trans women are women. Oh my word. Some transphobia as well thrown into the mix. Those who disagree were viciously torn to pieces and then raked over the coals for being abhorrent bigots. Or maybe it began with supposedly the grassroots movements wanting to disrupt society. I am too. I'm eager to see how Australia does indeed fit into all this. Oh my word. Maybe it began with the grassroots movements wanting to disrupt society. And yes, I'm looking directly at you. Extinction Rebellion and Black Lives Matter. What? What on earth? Did it begin with 2 + 2 = 5 and any other answer that would get you sent to the gulag? Or would those unthinkable and unimaginable atrocities that started with injecting a deep-seated hatred of the self into society? God, you can tell these people are all wacko libertarians as well. The amount they talk about the self as well. Of self into society. Was this preyed upon the minds of the most psychopathic minds? Perhaps the most plausible. Again, where's this going with Australia? And depressingly, the answer was simply because of all the nice, kind, honest, decent folks chose to stay in their bubbles. Turning out was clearly happening under their noses, focusing on their trivial little lives and mediocre problems instead. Oh dear. I asked myself time and time again, will their light bulb moments have even occurred? And were they coerced into medical treatments that they did not want or need? Or they started witnessing acquaintances with previously being socialized with being dragged away? Maybe their red line was when they started seeing their loved ones dying with no plausible explanation. Or were they so far gone under the spells of totalitarianism that they never realized? Some can only must have had their awakening in the chamber full of noxious smells, ooh, or a rice paddy full of skulls. Okay, wow, this is going completely off the rails. Australia's shameful past for the way they treated the indigenous populations is self-evident and has been so for many years. So it should have come as absolutely no surprise the vast majority of Aborigines have a deep mistrust of the authorities. Just 2 years ago, it would have been unconceivable to imagine communities being rounded up, herded into camps, and forced to have an experimental injection in their bodies that they did not need or did not want, but that was deemed for the good of society by those of the same authorities. Will they never force the evil puppets to stop of what they are doing by continually comply? This will only be achieved by resisting the insanity at every available opportunity. I am under no illusion about how undesirable our lives might be in such a short of time if we hold the line and stand in the power for so long enough that we might just be a treasure waiting for us. What on earth was that even about? The headline article was first they came for Australia, and then you went on this ramble about this. What on earth was that even about? But that's conspiracy theories, insane ramblings for you. That's insane conspiracy theories ramblings for you. It's coming up for 10:30, so we're just probably gonna have time to go through one more for this. But let's have a look for a good one. This might be done, written by our good friend Darren. Where could this all end? We have maybe quote 1 or 2 years to prevent the total takeover of our lives. Interesting. How unchecked ambition is killing our world. Our once high level of ambition being replaced with madness. Years to come when this epoch of collective madness has come to an end. People once again what went wrong. How did these place unchecked and limited power in the hands of so few? Nope. Wow. this might be interesting. Pollution study takes the charge out of electric vehicles. Politicians may have taken the wrong turn in driving away from diesel and petrol. Okay. This might be interesting. Volvo has published a study that shows manufacturers of electric vehicles, or EVs, creates 7% more emissions than conventional combustion engines. Well, my response to that would be, what's the alternative? Once those combustion engines are created and out, they're going to be pumping out continuous emissions. Whereas if it's an EV car, an electric vehicle car, they're not going to be pumping out those same emissions. By the way, you hear the same argument from people who are very anti-HS2, saying that apparently HS2 is going to cause all these carbon emissions. By the way, as we discussed with Gareth, again, just a couple of months ago now, he said it himself. The carbon footprint for HS2, the construction and the running of the HS2 is literally 1 month's worth of a year's. 1 month compared to a year's. It's 1 month of normal UK CO2 emissions. It was, I think it must have said. So that's pretty good for the environment, to be honest. If it's just 1 month and then we can get more people onto the trains, fantastic. Rapid rise has primed us all for a fall. Jam for Freedom. A park in London, a worldwide music festival and revolution in 1 year. I'm sure it is. Oh my word. I think that says it all. Be aware, the hypnotized may not hear. Critical thinkers must continue to speak out and try to break the spell over others. Really, my friend, Neil Bailey, who wrote this. Like I say, my door's always open to you. Come and get on with this. So why do some people steadfastly believe all the data coming from mainstream media sources, even though they know it is absurd? What? Because here's the thing why you trust mainstream sources. Mainstream sources come from a consensus. Most of the time, it is coming from a scientific consensus. The thing is, I don't know if I could get away with reading that on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know whether I can. I don't know if we can do that. Basically, I don't know if we can get away with it. So this is okay. So according to this is an article about how to de-hypnotize your friends from the mainstream media. Interesting. And of course, no newspaper will be complete without a horoscope. Interesting centerfold. Fauci emails reveal science is a matter of opinion. Right. Japan labels COVID shots with myocarditis warnings. Informed consent required. No, it's not. Okay, myocarditis. Again, one of the things why all these crazy folks go, you need to warn people. Look at all these myocarditis reading. By the way, when you have a shot, people in my my age group, I have the same chance of having myocarditis as of anyone else in my age group, whether they had the vaccine or not. Coincidence? Well, coincidences just make more interesting conspiracy theories. Bollywood star promotes natural immunity over COVID vaccines. I thought you said we should trust scientists, not Hollywood stars needing, to promote vaccines. And yet here you have a Bollywood star promoting natural immunity over COVID vaccines. I thought you needed scientists to do that, my friend. Again, surprise, surprise. This is something I definitely need to have a look into. So I'm not even going to bother reading the article. It's definitely something that needs to be looked into. But this, I guarantee you, if we look into it, will be false. Deaths and hospitalizations cut in half after Brazilian city offers ivermectin to everyone. I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. Like I say, ivermectin is an anti-parasite drug. You're dealing with a virus, not a parasite. Oh my word. An article here saying vaccines may have never been safe or effective. I think the entire scientific community disagrees on that. Decades of data. Polio we got rid of through a vaccine. as well as many other things. Again, look what happens at MMR. The second we have an MMR scare, we have mumps, measles, and rubella makes a return in all sorts of communities because, again, they get scared because they're again not told to do these things. So what happens? We have flare-ups, and what, surprise, surprise, because they didn't have a vaccine. Shock horror. Speaking out breaks the spell of mass hypnosis. No, one very anti-farmer here. Feeding industry that profits from our ill health. Of course, it's... Here's the thing. If, let's say we took the health industry and made it, public, these people would turn around and just say exactly the same things, but about the government. So it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter whether it's private or not. There's always some conspiracy somewhere. Oh my word. Oh my word. Are you uncomfortable about having money in the bank? Are you uncomfortable about having money in the bank? Silver Britannian coins are a great hedge in these troubled times and are a great way to protect your wealth for the future. We are the most competitive market markers in the UK. All coins are physically in stock and are delivered the next day by signed for post. All profits from Britannians are free of capital gains tax. Our coin experts are always on call and hold extensive stocks of gold and collectible rare coins. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but precious metals fluctuate in price. They are not a guaranteed way to protect your wealth unless you are buying like thousands of tons of the stuff. Yeah. What a great thing to advertise in your things. And of course, you have this other one. Crazy world plus Bible equals Bible prophecy explains why. And of course, we've got more natural immunity, crazy stuff. Pushing colloid silver again. Colloid silver is again a crazy naturopathic treatment. Again, there have been children turned up in hospitals with silver poisoning because these people overdosed them on silver. What's this? The Workers of England Union. Now, while I do advocate for people joining a union, maybe probably not this union. But there you go. Oh, what's this? The Constitution is the solution. The English Constitution Party. Again, while I do say that England and the UK does indeed need a written constitution, I wouldn't want these guys to, shall we say, necessarily be in charge of putting it in today. Our manifesto is freedom of choice. No to using experimental gene vaccines on children. No vaccine passport, no vaccine mandates, no more masks, no more lockdowns. Well, I think we can guess what the rest of their manifesto might even be like. But yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the light, because I've got places to be today, and quite frankly, I could spend the rest of the day easily just going through that. It's quite fun. Well, actually, no, hang on. They might be still watching. They might be still watching. I best keep it on. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the light. Like I say, I could very easily go on, but like I say, I've got places to be, things to do, and I've got better things to do than my time, and quite frankly, better videos to do with my time. Quite frankly, debunking this crazy conspiracy theorist nonsense. I've been down that path before, and let me tell you this: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can tell you that for sure. So, yeah, they must have known. They must have known. They must have planned it with their weather machines, the Illuminati, and then the light must have known and used their secret powers to get me to it, so I could get the truth out to you all. Of course, the light is the uncensored truth. I wonder if they've ever accepted submission from me. Say, God, oh, do you think we should try that? Oh my word, do you think we should genuinely try doing that? That would mean having to get a subscription because we'd have to see if it got posted in this. Do you think we should try it? Do you think we should try and write an article that is designed to like take the piss, take the mickey out of them, and see if we can slide it in? Let's see if they publish it. I've pondered doing this before. God, do you think we should? God, I don't know. I don't know if we should even bother trying to waste my time to do it. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to try and do. Yeah, offer to write a weekly column. No, as tempting as it is, I don't even bother want to waste my time. Like I say, I've said before, I don't really want to cover these complete nutcases because they are just complete nutcases. I think we've proved it there. But yes, if anyone from the light is indeed watching, you do fancy a coming on for the chat, like I say, my door is always open. Like I say, you posted this crap through my letterbox, so I'm guessing you must want to quote unquote discuss the truth. And after all, there is an article here about how to quote deprogram people. So clearly, you want to deprogram people. Needless to say, that will be rather hilarious. But as someone said, hey, we've got free bog roll at least. So if you fancy coming on for a chat, I've got Twitter. You can reach me probably down below in the comments. Let me know how to reach you. I'm sure we can arrange something, of course, for this. But yes, as always, thank you one and all for joining me today on today's Good Morning Walk. Like I say, unfortunately, we were forced inside today. Like I say, I don't know. It's probably not picking it up, but I'm inside and I can hear the wind. So there is no way, even if we put like a windsock on a mic, would we be able to hear me in the wind that is blowing out today. Like I say, I've got better places to be today. I've got a food festival that I'm going to at the local heritage centre. So I'm off down there later on today. So I'm going to go enjoy that. So I've got things to do, better things to do today. So yeah, The Light and its author, was it Darren Smith? You seem to be the editor of The Light. Care for a chat, Darren? I'd be very, very interested in having a talk with you and on some of the stuff. Although I might censor you because, like I say, I want to keep my channel. If you decide to start spouting nonsense, I will censor you. That's my warning to you now, because, like I say, I want to keep my channel. But if you ever, again, want to have a come on and have a chat, like I say, you are more than welcome. But as always, Thank you very much for one and all for joining us today on the Good Morning Walk. Like I say, indoors, unfortunately, because of Storm Mathue today, unfortunately. Next week, unfortunately, there will be no Good Morning Walk. I'm going on a stag do down in Nottingham. We're going to Warhammer World, which tells you everything you need to know about my group of friends and how we get our kicks for these types of things. But as always, thank you very much for one and all for joining us. Like I say, next week there will be no Good Morning Walk, but there will be a Wednesday live stream next Wednesday. So do come and join us for that. It's Wednesdays at 7 o'clock GMT time. Like I say, do come and join us for fun and games, and I'm sure maybe we'll be reporting about the Sugro report, what the consequences of that and what's happened because of that. Again, if it gets released, all indicators that it is probably going to be released next week. Of course, who knows? Maybe I'll be taken by the Illuminati. Of course, who knows? But like I say, hopefully I've got my tinfoil hat on, so hopefully they haven't been able to read my mind for all this. But of course, as always, thank you for joining me on the Good Morning Walk. And of course, buy gold, buy Bitcoin, buy the silver, buy the silver coins. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and of course my Buy Me Coffee link where you can buy me coffee. And of course, the YouTube memberships are open as well. And if you're on Twitch, do the Twitch thing. And of course, we'll see you all next time for hopefully the Good Morning Walk in 2 weeks' time. But of course, we will be having our Wednesday live stream, so that will still be happening. Oh yes, buy aluminium foil for your tinfoil hats. We are sponsored on. We're sponsored. Been sponsored today by Big Aluminium for this. So have an absolute fantastic weekend. Of course, if you can't be safe, but at least be sensible. And of course, please do go out and get your vaccines. Go out and get your boosters. Of course, what these people say are absolute nonsense. Go get your jabs. Go get all your stuff. Please do keep wearing your masks in settings. I will be going on a train today. I will be certainly wearing my mask on the train today. I might have COVID for all I know. I don't want to spread it to other people. I'm pretty confident I don't have COVID, of course. But again, you never know until you start to have symptoms, of course. So again, always, best to have, safety first and all that. So yes, please do, ladies and gentlemen, please, please do go out, protect yourself, protect your loved ones, get your vaccines, get your boosters as well. Like I say, we may have covered some conspiracy theory nonsense today, but we are far from, shall we say, conspiracy theorists on this channel. We do normally cover, shall we say, proper and sensible news and policy that's going on here in the UK, not this drivel that we've covered today. But as always, thank you one and all for joining us today. And of course, we will see you soon for some more action and hopefully next time some ponies out there on the Good Morning Walk. So we'll see you all very soon.